My name is Jamie, and this is the vlog for January 19th. It is 8 o'clock p.m. Hubby's night, put the kiddo to bed, so he's off playing video games, and I am just kind of tidying up in the kitchen, planning stuff for tomorrow. So, this is a cool thing that happened today. Last year, let's rewind a little bit. Last year, 2019, when we went on our Disney cruise for Christmas time. It was the stars aligning. Normally cruises are well out of our A price range and B scheduling range because I've had to plan and cancel enough things now that I don't make plans unless he has the leave approved because he can come and go at a moment's notice, which makes cruise planning where you book it when the cruise first becomes available, like a year and a half out to get the best price. It makes cruising almost impossible because you're bound to the schedule of the ship and the schedule of his sub. So I never thought we'd be able to do it, but the stars aligned. He was able to get the time off and he got a bonus. So we decided to put a huge chunk of that bonus towards a vacation and making some memories together. And so this once in a lifetime great deal came up on a Disney cruise over Christmas. And that's why the deal was great for that time of year. It was, if you went on this cruise and it wasn't Christmas time, you would spend 2 or 3,000 less for the exact same thing that we did. But this was the time we had vacation, and the cruise line had a deal, so we did it. We went on a Disney cruise. We spent Christmas Eve in Jamaica and Christmas Day at sea on our way back to Galveston on a 7-night cruise. The whole thing was pretty cool. And a lot of those memories, we couldn't have known that COVID was coming right around the corner next deployment. So a lot of those memories really kept all of us going and positive during this last deployment. I can't put a price tag on that. The cruise was realistically like $6,000 or $7,000, way more than I would ever spend on a vacation. Way more than I would ever spend in one place on much of anything. I'm kind of stingy like that, I guess. But we did it. And we are very well aware when we were sitting there listening to some people who do this every year about how incredibly special this was for us. This is quite possibly a once in a lifetime. The kiddo, who is super shy and at the time had things that looks like absent seizures. I may have talked about them before. She went to the kids club, and we were really nervous about that, but they engaged her immediately. And I know everyone raves about the Disney Kids Club. My kid raves about it too, and my kid is super shy. But my kid does not eat around just anybody. So we drop her off after breakfast, give us a couple hours to ourselves, and pick her up for lunch. And then we'd hang out most of the day, and then till dinner, maybe we'd drop her off in between for an hour or two, but she loved it. And at the end of the cruise, they gave you a calendar for Disney Cruise Line. Not like a calendar of like a mini calendar with special events marked on it, but like an actual 12-month calendar with beautiful pictures of the cruise ship we were on and our crew. Even our server ended up in most of the pictures for the cast members, crew members, whatever you call them. So it was really cool. This year, obviously, we didn't do anything. So we didn't have those kind of memories to draw on. And none of the Disney calendars were turning my crank, really. Not having a new one kind of bothered me. So I made my own. I went through those cruise memories and pulled them up at Walgreens. And, and they're stuff that our family will appreciate and you guys probably won't care. That's my kiddo discovering a Mickey bar for the first time. And which he had every single night on the cruise at dinner time. Dinner, we ended up getting a late seating. Again, we had to book last minute and pay last minute, and everything was finalized about 3 weeks before. And it kind of set off this whole thing because I had to get a passport. And my husband has a readily accessible birth certificate, so his was no problem. My kiddo has a readily accessible birth certificate, so hers is no problem. Yours truly has a birth abstract from California because it wasn't until the 2000s, I think, that they started issuing adoptees through the state in California actual birth certificates. Yeah, so it's another form of othering those of us who came to our families in a way that wasn't biological. Anyway, after some help with my family, my brother ended up going down to the county office and petitioning for a birth certificate for me, overnighting it to me, so we were able to get everything, all my paperwork squared away so I could get on the boat. But I was really stressing because I figured I've had this birth abstract, it's worked for everything my whole life. All of a sudden it doesn't work anymore. But now I have a birth certificate, so yay. And yes, my birth certificate has my legal family's name on them, which is, again, fine by me. But we had a lot of super special moments on that cruise, so I'm going to gush about this a little bit. So if this is not your jam, feel free to tune out now. But I'm not going to show you every picture in this catalog, but this is pretty cool. And let me go into why this is pretty cool. My kiddo was not a fan of characters at all. She's not a fan of new people. She's not a fan of anybody who's not her person, at least at this point in her life. And during this cruise, we saw her open up in a way we haven't seen her open up from school. We didn't have to coach her for any interactions, and we don't. We really leave it up to, like, I don't have pictures of her screaming on Santa's lap, because if she's not comfortable with Santa, I'm not going to make her go to Santa. Yeah, we had some, I mean, she won't remember these moments, but we went to Grand Cayman, which was a trigger for me in lots of good ways, because for a few years when I was young, my family went to Grand Cayman over Thanksgiving with another family, friends of ours. And I remember sitting on my dad's shoulders on my way back to the beach, just like my husband had my daughter sitting on his shoulders on the way back from a play at the beach. We only had a little bit of time in Grand Cayman, so we got off the boat and then just walked a couple of miles till we found the nearest beach. Hung out there, hung out with the hermit crabs, let her splash in the waves, and just like did our first international vacation. Oh yeah, speaking of splashing in the waves, I told you I wasn't going to show you all these, but I just might. No, I probably won't. Yeah, I mean, it was an incredibly magical trip. I have a couple photos in here that aren't from that, but you know, they did a pirate night, and it's fun to play pirates in the Caribbean. So, you know, it included, you know, pirates taking over the ship, playfully, of course, not the real thing, and Mickey saving the ship, and a showing of the original Pirates of the Caribbean movie outside on the deck in the Caribbean late at night, which was super cool. But anyway, you know, the reality of my family is, you know, my husband travels, so it is what it is. And things like this get to keep those memories super close at hand, which is going to be super valuable here shortly. Anyway, that was the cool thing that happened today. I got to go pick up my calendar that came in. Other than that, it was a pretty boring housework day. So not much to report there. Physically, I'm feeling pretty good today. Got to go for a walk. It was 40 degrees. No snow yet, but it's getting colder. And now we're at the fun point where we're discussing order possibilities and what's next after he gets off this boat. So we'll see. We've been in Washington since the beginning, so we're kind of attached to here. But life is full of opportunities, and sometimes you'll never know unless you take them. Other side of that coin is, good, I don't know if I want to move during a pandemic, but other people have done it, and they've been fine too. So a lot of hemming and hawing going on. We'll see. Anyway, I'm Jamie. Today was good. Tomorrow will be better.